LaFleur tends to freeze, and people say it, and it's true. He's like a deer in the headlights when it comes to big games. If they ever get to a Super Bowl with him, you better lay in a big supply of diapers. He's going to be on the sideline pissing his pants the entire time. Not that I wouldn't be, but I'm not an NFL head coach, okay? And that's the problem with LaFleur. Okay, let us talk for a minute, if you will, about Matt LaFleur. First, I have to say this. I think that Matt LaFleur is a good coach. I do think he is a good coach. If I had to give him a grade, I would give him at least a B, maybe a B plus. I'll get to that in a second. I think he's a good coach. He is definitely smart. He's above average when it comes to scheming. He's above average when it comes to play calling. And if anyone has known me for any amount of time, when it comes to coaching, I easily complain about play calling. I don't complain about his play calling. Really don't. Some decisions that he's made have been a little bit suspect, like kicking the field goal in the NFC Championship game a few years back. Neither here nor there. People make mistakes. I think he's smart. I think he's a good coach. The problem with Matt LaFleur, ladies and gentlemen, is this. He's got the high winning percentage because he's smart and he schemes and he calls a good game. So he's got a sky-high winning percentage. But what does his winning percentage plummet to in difficult situations? I.e., going to London, going to Brazil, NFC Championship games, going to the West Coast, playing difficult opponents. Lions, Vikings, Eagles, ring a bell. It's not good. It's not good. And what I'm starting to think is that he has a mental block. When it comes to these big situations, it's like he's afraid. He plays and coaches afraid, and that trickles down to the rest of the team. They come out against average and bad teams, guns blazing. They came out against Seattle, and they said, we're going to kick your ass. They came out against a depleted, bad Saints team, and they said, we're going to kick your ass. And then when they get to playing the Vikings, it's almost like, oh, gosh, I hope we don't lose. And they just don't have that edge. And it's the same thing. That's what he spent the week going to the London game against the Giants a couple years ago. He spent that entire week whining and moaning, oh, and it's going to be hard, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. And what happened? They came out, and they got beat up by a bad Giants team. Forever. For the most part, he's had issues going out west, to the West Coast. NFC Championship games. Big games. Cowboy game last year, they won the playoffs. That was a good win. But there's a mental block. There's a toughness that is not there when it comes to the big games. And LaFleur is a very emotional guy, and he shows it, and he shows it too much, and he also lets it affect him into doing some really silly things, like arguing with referees over every little thing. Maybe taking just decision-making, getting out of his game plan. It's something that's been an issue since day one with LaFleur. And that could be a problem going forward with the Packers. Think